I'm a 37-year-old female. My name's Emma, and I've had a very hard time dating, trying to find somebody that I can call my forever love. Well, I'm in this photography group on social media because it's my biggest hobby in the world. And that's where I met him, Caleb. And we've been talking. He lives across the world, but I'm going to go see him. That is, until one day I discovered something that he was hiding from me, and it's absolutely devastating. Wow, where do I even start with this mess? I guess the background should help explain how I ended up here. I'm Emma, and I've been single for a few years since my last serious relationship ended. My dating life has been pretty quiet lately, especially with COVID. I have a small circle of close girlfriends that I rely on, but no real romantic prospect. A few months ago, I joined an online photography hobby group, since it's a passion of mine. Immediately, I noticed this one dude's shots. They took such artistic risk that paid off. I reached out to compliment his work, and we got to chatting. His name's Caleb. Caleb was 34, lived in London, and was just as into photography as I was, if not more. We never ran out of things to analyze about different settings and stuff, lighting and angles. Soon we were messaging daily, analyzing shots, but also just talking about life. He was easy to open up to. Such an amazing listener. He told me all about his tight-knit family and career as a graphic designer. I found myself telling him things I had not told anyone else, like how I still struggled with grief over losing my mom to cancer 3 years ago. Caleb comforted me, saying his father had passed when he was a teenager, so he related to the pain of losing a parent. Over the next month, we grew incredibly close. We would chat for hours every night, mesmerized by learning the intricacies of each other's lives and minds. So I looked forward to coming home and unloading my stressful job on him. The time difference had him up late at night anyways. I could not believe I'd developed such an instant connection with someone from across the world. Past relationship took months to build the trust that I shared with him, so we sent selfies to finally put faces to our name. He was cute, dark curly hair and bright blue eyes. The more we talked, the more I started to wonder, could this work long term? I knew he was in London, but the thought of closing the distance did not scare me like it maybe should have. After all, our emotional bond had formed completely virtually. Soon messages turned romantic, and Caleb said that he felt like we were the kindest spirits and called me a soulmate. He talked about wanting to meet up, maybe me even moving to London one day. He said he could not let this connection slip away when we, quote, understood each other so deeply. My cynical inner voice tried to tone it down, but I could not help but feel like maybe he was, quote, the one I've been waiting for. Somebody who knew the very depths of my soul, and he felt the same, saying he would never open up like this before. I did start to notice some odd things, though. Caleb would disappear for days at a time without contact, and he'd surface saying that he was on a technology detox and just needed to, quote, unplug and find himself. I got annoyed and tried to understand it, but whatever. The few times I asked followed-up questions about his family or life, his stories did not quite align. He'd get defensive, saying I was interrogating him. Again, I let it slide. One night, a pang of anxiety hit. I realized I knew so much intimate emotional information about this man, but so few facts. I barely knew anything about his day-to-day. On a whim, I searched for his photography account on Instagram, hoping to see his London life, and there it was. A shocking double life exposed. His page was full of a couple of photos of him cuddling, kissing, and laughing with a gorgeous brunette woman. And some she had a visible baby bump. The most recent was an artsy maternity photo shoot from a few weeks before. I felt sick to my stomach. I felt nauseous. Who was this woman? Did he have a girlfriend or wife he'd conveniently neglected to mention? My hand shook as I typed out a message to Caleb. "We need to talk. Who is this woman all over your Instagram? Please explain yourself." Caleb immediately began calling me repeatedly on WhatsApp. After the fourth decline of the call, I messaged, "I'm not doing this over the phone. You've lied to me for months. I want answers in writing." Eventually, a long WhatsApp came through. He admitted, Clara, his wife of 5 years, she's 7 months pregnant with her first kid. Conveniently, the exact length of time Caleb has been talking to me. He swore their marriage was rocky and practically over. He claimed that he'd fallen out of love with her years ago but stayed for the lifestyle and the shared assets. My emotional support had been his escape from the sham marriage he felt trapped in. He said our connection was the only real thing in his life. I felt physically ill reading his excuse. Mostly I was fuming that he hid something so fundamental from me this whole time. Through tears, I wrote back, "Our friendship wasn't real to you if you hid half of your life from me. Don't you ever contact me again." I blocked his number and all social media. Even through anger and humiliation, I felt a strange sense of grief and loss. I didn't just lose a potential partner. I lost my closest confidant. The one who knew my innermost secrets and fears for the last months. The thought of never speaking to him again caused surprisingly deep sadness. Unsure what exactly to do next, I turned to this website. Should I tell his wife Clara the truth? She was about to have a baby with this man in less than 2 months' time, and I was disgusted he could tear her down behind her back after she had given him so much. She deserved to know who she was married to and having a child with. But they still lived together and were presented as happy soon-to-be parents online. What if telling her just blew up her life moments before giving birth? What if Caleb spun it and convinced her I was just some deranged stalker? My girlfriends all said to stay out of it, but my conscience ate at me. Just thinking about poor Clara being kept in the dark in such a vulnerable state made me sick. If it were me, I'd want to know the truth, no matter how painful. So, I typed out a message to Clara explaining who I was, how her husband and I met, the extent of our relationship, and how I came to uncover his double life. I included screenshots as proof, but said I understood if she could not or did not want to respond. A day later, Clara responded with shock but gratitude. She admitted having had her suspicions about his constant texting and shady social media activity. My screenshots were the hard evidence that she needed. So we exchanged a few vulnerable messages back and forth, and I told her I could not imagine how stressful this must be while 38 weeks pregnant. I offered support if she needed a friend. Clara let me know that they were going to marriage counseling and considered their options given the baby's coming so soon. I wished her the best, and I said I'd always be open to lending an ear if she ever needs support. About a month later, though, get this, Clara, she updated me, right? After some initial shock and anger, she forgave Caleb for the sake of their baby. Yep. She forgave a cheater. She felt extremely fragile and did not want to rock the boat before the baby birth. They agreed to table further decision-making for now. She remained hyper-vigilant about any suspicious behavior from him, though, apparently. Clara did, though, give birth to a healthy baby boy shortly after that, and I wished her congratulations, but privately worried she was betraying herself by allowing Caleb's behavior to go unaddressed. Clara seemed optimistic that they could gradually rebuild intimacy. So I tried to temper my doubts and remain supportive, but now here I am, a few months later, still processing it all. I have moments of white-hot anger, thinking about Caleb's audacity to deceive me so intimately while playing the perfect husband for his pregnant wife online. Other times, I can't help but miss the friendship I thought that we had. I hate feeling foolish for falling for his act. Mostly, though, I'm working towards closure. I've been journaling a lot, talking to close friends, and seeing a therapist a few times. She says this experience likely tapped into my old abandonment issue from losing my mom. It's painful but important work learning to be less codependent and to recognize red flags. I still feel twinges of worry for Clara, as a new mom figuring out her marriage to a proven liar. But she seems to think reconciliation is possible, so I'm trying to respect that and focus on my healing. If any of you have experienced an emotionally intimate catfishing situation, please reach out. I'm feeling pretty raw and would love to know I'm not alone in being blindsided like this. And if you have any advice on moving forward and being able to trust again, I am all ears. I now know that taking things slow and verifying facts about a potential partner will be crucial for me. Overall, I'm proud of how I handled this, walking away with strength once the truth emerged, then ensuring the innocent wife knew the truth too. Her pregnancy could have trapped me in his web of lies longer if I did not stumble upon the evidence. Now to just rebuild my shattered faith in humanity, one step at a time. So I want to know from you guys, do you think I made a big mistake by exposing him to his pregnant wife? I'll update you guys in just a little bit. Updates. Number 1. Hey guys, so it's been about 6 months now since the dust settled on this whole Caleb situation. I wanted to provide an update partially just to process it all. I still check in with Clara occasionally. She seems to be in an okay place, all things considered. The baby is her main priority now. So he's an absolute cutie with Caleb's curly hair but her big brown eyes. Clara says Caleb has been fairly attentive as a new father when he's not working. He takes over baby duties when he gets home so she can nap. She seems hopeful they can work through this betrayal and eventually find their way back to each other. Privately, I do worry for her. Clara is incredibly strong, but I know if it were me, I'd have a hard time rebuilding trust after such deception, especially with a new baby relying on me. As for me, I'm in a much better place emotionally than I was in the initial aftermath. Well, talking it out through therapy helped me see I did not do anything wrong by being open to an exciting connection. The blame lies fully with Caleb for manipulating that openness. Anyways, I'm not quite ready to dive back into dating yet. I'm not using any dating apps, but I'm becoming more open to the idea. I know I need to take it very slow though, not rushing emotionally anymore until I know the person is truthful and consistent. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice? Well, you know. The experience left me with some emotional scars with anxiety around dating, but I'm healing little by little. My girlfriends have been amazing support and we do a monthly wine night event and laugh about our dating mishaps. Misery does love company after all. Overall, I don't regret reaching out to Clara and telling her the truth. Even if it shattered her world, she deserved agency in deciding her future. I just hope Caleb realizes what pain his actions caused, and that he now strives to rebuild rather than take Clara's forgiveness for granted. As for me, I'm choosing to grow from this, rather than staying stuck as a victim. If any of you have any experience with a similar catfishing/emotional cheating situations, my direct messages are open. I would love to continue connecting with others who have walked this road too. Onwards and upwards we go. Now we're going to check out 3 of the top comments from today's story, and here is comment number 1. Wow, OP, you handled the situation with maturity and grace. Despite the heartbreak, it was so strong of you to walk away once you uncovered the truth, and telling his wife was the right call. Even though it must have been so tough, don't beat yourself up over being fooled. You acted in good faith, and the blame lies fully with Caleb. Keep focusing on self-care and rebuilding your sense of trust. You've got this. Sending you lots of virtual hugs. Comment number 2. I don't know, this whole thing seems fishy to me. You're conveniently leaving out how you acted sneaky by stalking this guy's social media and inserting yourself into his marriage. His wife was about to give birth. Did you think that you were going to, quote, do the right thing by imploding her world? Seems more like you were bitter about getting dumped, so tried to sabotage his life. I'd be mad if some random online chick messaged my husband claiming an emotional affair with no solid proof. Tread carefully with these baseless accusations. You could ruin lives. Final comment. Wow, this is a complicated situation all around. I can understand you felt compelled to tell his wife, considering their baby was on the way. But I also worry for her well-being if she felt forced to stay with him just for the child's sake. Perhaps couples counseling could help them work through this healthily if they're both willing to put in the effort. As for you, just remember that his dishonesty is a reflection of his character, not yours. Focus on self-care and trusting your instincts again. When you're ready, wishing you all the best in healing from this painful experience. Let's just talk about the second commenter to get that one out of the way. I like to add in comments that got a lot of attention, even if they're negative, even if they're against everyone else's opinion, because it does show some insight about how people really think about these stories. Well, comment number 2 was somehow blaming OP for the entire situation, saying, hey, you're the one that's stalking this dude, leave them alone. Let them have their own life, let them do what they're doing in peace. But I think that he's completely missing the point that OP was just exposing Caleb for doing something behind his significant other pregnant wife's back. So I do want to know from you guys, what do you think about these 3 comments that was added towards the end of the video? And I want to talk about them down below in our comment section, guys. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories like this every day. So if you want to be a part of these daily revenge stories, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. And of course, remember, there's a lot of revenge going on in this world. So it's cool to be kind. See ya.